All right, welcome back. Today we're going to be installing my stainless steel impeller seal kit on this here HS828. So let's get started. First thing we want to do is, for good measure, never hurts, we're going to shut the gas off and we're going to remove the spark plug boot, just in case. Ignition switch is also off, but safety. All right, we need to gain access to the impeller housing. In order to do that, we're going to take this chute off and we're just going to lay it off to the side. If you have an impact wrench, beautiful. If not, regular socket does the trick. This is a 12mm socket. I soaked all of these fasteners in a little bit of penetrating lubricant overnight, just in case. Get a lot of salt, a lot of water constantly, and the last thing you want to do is snap something off. In case you go to put this thing back together and you don't remember, there is a small washer that goes down first, then the plate, then the bolt. Fastener is removed. We can lay this off to the side. Just kind of place it so you remove some of the stress off the deflector chute cable. Okay, now we have excellent access to the impeller housing. So we're going to be using our locking pliers that I spoke about. First thing I want to do is take this pair of pliers and position it so that it locks onto the impeller shaft that runs to the gearbox. And I want this to jam up against the auger. And this is what's going to keep the impeller from spinning as I'm drilling down against the face of it. Takes a second to figure out exactly how much tension you're going to need. Lock it in good. Now I can apply a ton of pressure on this thing without it spinning on me. We're going to take our seal and we're going to put it on the face. You can get a shot of the top here. And we're going to push it up against the housing. Now, this is belted rubber. It's durable, but it will wear in with the friction of the impeller spinning against this housing. So I want it up against the housing. I'm going to take my plate. I'm going to position it so that it's pretty much right in line with the silhouette of the impeller blade right underneath it. Next step is locking pliers. Okay, I'll go in the auger housing. I'm going to clamp this into place. Definitely need two hands. Just a little thumb screw until you get a good fair amount of tension. So when you lock it in, get a nice solid locking sound, you know? Dunk. You know it's on there real good. It's not going to walk on us. It's not going to move. All right, next, we're going to need our drill and our drill bits. I always like to use a little bit of oil when I'm drilling. And just gonna drop it onto the face so it gets right in the little mounting holes. There we go. Okay, next, we're drilling through steel. You don't need to go fast. You shouldn't go fast. You have two settings on a drill: fast and slow. So we're going to be using the number 1 setting, which is the slow setting. I'm going to go right through the top of the blade here, and I like to get through the rubber and then kind of clear the rubber by doing a little bit of a, like a tapping down and back and forth a few times. And then I'm going to apply firm pressure. And I am not going to go full speed. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to let the drill do the work. Let the oil lubricate it. All right, we're through with 1. Now we can go to the second. All right. Now some machines have impellers that are rather thin. Hondas are quite thick, so it does take a while to get through there. Just be patient, let it do its job, Now, I like to normally blow it out with a little compressed air. If you don't have compressed air, take a rag or something, just wipe it, get some of that debris out of the way. Okay, now we're going to take our fasteners. 1/4 inch stainless steel bolts, 1 inch long, nylock nuts. I'm just going to start them in the holes. Now that they're started, I can remove my clamps. Long extension, 7/16 or 11 millimeter socket, 7/16 or 11 millimeter combination wrench. Could be one of the ratcheting box end wrenches too. I'm just going to use the open face. You could use a ratchet if you don't have an impact driver. I do. I will be using the impact driver. Okay, we start our nuts. One started. Two started. That's 1. All right, you may ask, how tight do I make this? Well, if you look closely, you could start to see the faceplate start to just kind of deform slightly. That's typically tight enough. All right, that's 1. Hondas have 3-blade impellers, so we're going to be installing this kit on all 3 blades. We can just get a shot from the top right here. Hondas are have a reputation for having a very, very tight clearance between their blade face and the impeller housing. But over time, this metal starts to wear away from gravel, if you have a gravel driveway, or just the small pebbles that you find from salt trucks mixed in with their rock salt you get at the end of the driveway. Just over time, this material starts to, get away from you, and that impeller gap starts to increase. And that's why we're doing this. Even on a brand new machine, you're just gonna reduce the fatigue on this thing over time. Small pebbles or larger pieces of a pebble or smaller pieces of gravel that would normally get stuck in between this impeller and this housing as it rotates could gouge and scrape away the metal on the machine. And if you look at the housing on this thing, it has been obliterated by stones over the years. So this is just gonna help reduce the wear on the surface of the impeller and the housing itself. All right, so I measure 3/8 on the front here and 1/4 inch in the back. That's quite a bit of space. Oops, that one got away from me. Take your time, be patient. I've done a ton of these, and even still, I'll fumble a little bit here and there. Just like that. That's okay, but I'd rather it be a little better. Let's do this one more time. The seal. Doesn't help that I'm wearing gloves and it's 20 degrees outside. Nice and secure, locked in. Add a little bit of oil, and we're ready to drill. There we go, I'm just warming up. Spoke too soon. Okay, clear the debris. Grab our next pair of fasteners. Move our locking pliers, start our nuts. you are working kind of blind when you're starting these nuts. And if you're doing this outside in a garage where it's cold, just be prepared to be patient. Go with feel. Wrench, my impact driver. Slipping off the face of the wrench just a little bit. Nice and tight. 2 down, 1 to go. Now it is going to be kind of tight as you're spinning this thing around. Because you have these impeller seals in direct contact with the housing. But they will wear themselves in appropriately. Last seal. Last plate. Final pair of fasteners. Now I always recommend starting the nut by hand. If you come up with some clever way of using a power tool to start it, there's a very good chance that you're going to cross thread things. There we have it. 3 blades installed. Go ahead and blow out. spray, maybe some WD-40 inside there to reduce the initial friction on these impeller seals. I have found that it really doesn't make a difference either way. They're still just gonna find their way to the proper distance at the lowest point, wherever it's, wherever the low spot is on this housing, because it may not be 100% in the middle, it's gonna wear itself out to that point. If you feel better hitting it with WD, by all means, go right ahead. But let's get this thing reassembled. Put our chute in place. Little washers go first. Next goes our retaining plates. Followed by the bolt. Okay, and there you have it. That completes the installation of the impeller seal kit on an HS828. Now, this demonstration applies to all of the HS models. It doesn't matter if it's a 24, 28, or 32-inch machine with tracks, wheels, or a 6 horsepower, 7 horsepower, 8 horsepower, 9 horsepower, 11, or 13. Thank you for watching.